Also from City Hall today, word that the City Council will delay a second and final vote on an ordinance that would impose new restrictions on hookah and vape lounges and cigar bars. Last week, council members approved the ordinance on a first reading. It would prevent those establishments from operating between the hours of 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. Police had been expressing concern that those businesses were becoming after-hours clubs, disturbing nearby neighborhoods. A second and final reading was set for today's City Council meeting, but it was put off until next week to allow council members to hear from a representative of the Downtown Management District.